back at Miss Cindy's kitchen. I'm going to show you a stovetop version of rice pudding. So, the recipe I have, or the original recipe, calls for 1.5 cups of cooked rice, 2 cups of milk divided, which means you use it in 2 different stages of the recipe, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 2/3 cup of golden raisins, which is optional, because I know there's raisin lovers and raisin haters out there. Take your pick, do what's best for your family. And 1 beaten egg, and 1/3 cup white sugar, and at the very end, a tablespoon of butter, and 1/2 teaspoon vanilla. So, I have about 3 cups of rice left from that big catering dinner we won. So, and I thought, well, I'll just use it all up in one go. So, I'm going to finish it off here. And then I got this tool here to break it up in the skillet. Saucepan. Whatever this little cooking vessel is here. So I'm going to take that 3 cups of rice and add in 2 cups of milk, because the recipe calls for using 2/3 of the milk at the beginning and then the rest after it's cooked. And then we're going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I like the Himalayan salt. It's got more flavor than regular table salt. Oh yeah. And our genius dog here actually lit the stove while we were asleep. And yes, she's looking so innocent there. So if you have dogs that like to explore the kitchen, make sure you use some kind of safety devices or take off the knobs off your stove, because they can, in fact, light a stove. I woke up, she whimpers and fusses for me to wake up because she needs to go outside first thing in the morning. Well, this morning she was yipping and barking. And I'm like, what is up? And so as soon as I open the door, I hear that ominous click, 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 click sound in the kitchen. I'm like, oh no. But nothing happened, thank goodness, because we do make it a point to keep our stove cleared off so we don't accidentally have any accidents. So, anyway. You know, you've all seen that viral video of a dog lighting a pizza box on fire that was left on the stove. Dogs can light stoves. It does happen. We found out that it actually does happen. So, just be mindful of that. But thankfully, nothing bad happened. So anyway, the rice is going to be heating up and will cook and simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. And gradually it will break down and become creamy. So, while we stir this, make sure you like and subscribe and share this video to your friends and leave us a comment. And we'll be back with you when the rice is done simmering. Alright, and we're back, and the rice is kind of broken down a little bit. And now we're going to add another cup of milk, 2 beaten eggs. That's going to make it nice and creamy. And then 2/3 cup sugar. And it calls for a double batch, 1 1/3 cups of golden raisins. And I thought these were loosened up, but apparently they're holding on to themselves for dear life in here. There is? Yes. So that's 2/3, and then doubled if I don't drop the whole entire package in the pot. Alright, come on, break it up in here, people. We've had this box of raisins hanging out in our cabinet for a while, so it's nice to find a use for them. Alright. So, we're going to do that. And go ahead and stir this to let it heat through. So we're going to cook this for 2 to 3 minutes. And again, if you're not a fan of raisins, we won't mind if you decide to omit them.
Hey, there, you can put it there. I mean, we have some date bits. We've got.
Yeah. You can omit them or substitute for them. So this is going to cook for 2 to 3 minutes to let the egg come through, or cook through. Anyway, and then calls for 2 tablespoons of butter and a teaspoon of vanilla. And the measurements I gave you are for a double batch, because the original recipe, which we will post with this video, shows the single batch amounts. But I had 4 cups of rice, and I wanted to use them up. Between 3 and 4 cups of rice. So look how creamy this is getting. The egg helps bring it together and bind it and give it more of a custardy texture. So we're just going to simmer this through for 2 to 3 minutes. And then, as a finisher, before we serve it, we will add the butter and the vanilla. Doesn't that look delicious? And we ended up with a whole steamer pan of fresh cooked rice the other night. And it's taken us most of the week to go through it, so it's a lot of rice.
Yeah.
But we're making good use of it. We made fried rice for a late lunch. And then we served it with our pepper steak that we made. And now we're finishing it off with rice pudding. So, and someone said that nutmeg really adds a nice spice to rice pudding. So I'm just going to add a little sprinkle in there. I'm going to turn off the heat. Just a smidge of nutmeg. A little goes a long way. And then we're going to add in this butter, which is about 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. So, you give it a more of a silkier, rich finish. And a splash of vanilla. So, just a little bit in there. Let me give that a good stir. So as we watch the butter melt. Doesn't that look delicious?
Mm-hmm. Does look good.
So we're going to let this cool down just a tiny bit, and then we'll bring Logan back in for another taste test. All right. And our rice pudding, I cooled it off a little bit. I scooped it into individual bowls. Then I put them in the refrigerator for a few minutes so we wouldn't have a case of lava tongue. So, anyway, Logan's going to give it a try.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get some of the raisins with it. But, really, they look good.
Nice and rich and creamy.
Had a homemade rice pudding before.
I think the last time I made it, it was more custardy and it was baked. So it had a different presentation. So, anyway, so if you ever find yourself blessed with too much cooked rice, you now have a quick and easy recipe to make rice pudding on the stovetop, which is a much quicker way to make it than in the oven. So again, thank you for joining us this evening, and enjoy the rice pudding through the smell-o-vision I wish we could invent. It smells great. So anyway, come back again soon.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, and neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.